How's it going, guys? So, yep, finally happened. Finished the build on the Mr. Percussive gravel / Monstercross / all-road adventure bike version 2.0. And this is the bike check. So, the base right here is a 2019 Norco Storm. Yep, entry-level bike frame. So I found this bike off Craigslist. This dude's girlfriend was riding it for a little bit, and pretty soon after, she wanted a full suspension bike. So I picked the whole bike up. It's a Norco Storm 4. I think you can get a new one for like, I don't know, $500, $400 or $500. And I got it for $150. Stripped it of all the parts and built it up from scratch to what I wanted it to be. This was perfect because after researching a bunch of different frames to have a good solid base starting point for what I want my gravel bike to be, and I actually wanted this specific bike, specific size. It's a small, by the way, and I found one on Craigslist for $150. So yeah, 2019 Norco Storm, small. Up on the front, on the fork, I'm running a Shimano PRO XCR 465mm axle to crown with a 51mm offset. Now I'm running a long offset because I need the toe clearance, since this is a 27.5 frame and I'm stuffing a 29er wheel up front and it clears no issues. So that's that. I got that fork off eBay for 120 bucks shipped, because no one really wants these round tube ones anymore. If you guys have been following the build and my Instagram, you guys have probably already seen some clips of me doing some pretty dumb stuff on this. And yes, there is a little bit of flexing going on in the front end, but that's what you get for round tubes. But I hope I don't have to worry about it too much. I think it's gonna be fine for the occasional send. Now, onto the wheels. As mentioned before, the front wheel is a 29er. It's a Stan's 3.30 HD hub, laced to a mystery rim. I think it's also a Stan's rim, it's just the decal's taken out. I found that one on Craigslist for $35, and it's got silver spokes and it weighs in at about 900 grams. I think it was 905 grams on the scale. So not particularly lightweight. And on the back, the wheel is actually part of one of the only remaining original parts from the bike. It's the 27.5 wheel, which came with the bike, and that thing weighs a whopping 1,400 grams. Yeah, 1,400 grams for that rear wheel. It's kind of like a generic hub. The internals aren't even Shimano, and you can't get a generic free hub body to swap it, and so on. On these wheels, I'm actually running Schwalbe G1 Speeds light skins, and these are the 2.35 widths. I'm running these because I know I need to be able to cover pretty solid road miles and to have good rolling to keep up with most people on proper like gravel bikes or road bikes every once in a while, because this has to double up as my winter road bike as well. I am running tubes in them with removable cores and finish line sealant. Did quite a few long mixed terrain rides already, and actually a few solid mountain bike rides chasing enduro bikes down some downhill trails, and it's been holding it pretty well. I'm running 28 PSI in the front and 30 in the back, and been pretty happy with it so far. To those wheels, we are running 160mm rotors. Grabbing those rotors are Juintech's, these are the 2-port ones, 2-piston calipers. They also make a 4-piston one, which is pretty solid, but these are the 2-piston ones, which are essentially the same as the Yokozuna ones, which I think Yokozuna just grabs them and rebadges them and sells them. But yeah, these are the cable actuated hydro Juintechs. They've been pretty solid so far. Now that we've got the rolling chassis and the brakes out of the way, Holding the fork to the frame is an Uno Advanced Project stem. It's a 35 mil on this one, and I've made a video before about how I think these are probably one of the best bang for buck stems you can find out there, especially the road ones, like bang for buck grams. Click here if you want to see a review on what that is. And then what the stem is holding is Ritchey Ergo Max. Now, these Ergo Max bars are 46 centimeter handlebars with a bit of a rise. I like the rise because it looks cool, and that's probably one of the reasons why I got it. It does have a bit of a flare, like a 12-degree flare. I'm not a big fan of the flare, but these ones don't bother me too much. These are also not the WCS ones. These are the comps, which are 6061 aluminum as opposed to the 7005 or 7006. So it is a little bit more compliant, and I will take that over the weight penalty because this is a rigid aluminum bike. Now, shifters. Well, the shifters are essentially Shimano R7000s. Now, the left one we have modded to actuate my dropper post. My buddy Jeremy Coyle actually took apart the shifter, dremeled the wrong thing, and then essentially just re-engineered the whole thing and rebuilt it with donor parts from brake caliper brakes and cantilever brakes and rear shock bolts and a quick trip to the hardware store, and now it works solid. Thanks, Jeremy, you are a bike wizard. I would not recommend anyone doing this to a Shimano one unless you have a Jeremy on hand or you are really mechanically adept, because it's almost as if Shimano doesn't want you taking them apart and touching them. But if you want to do a SRAM one, those are easy 10-minute mods, and they're reversible, so you're not, it's non-destructive. You can make it back to a 2x if you wanted to. Click up here if you want to see how that works. So my left shifter actuates a Bontrager 100mm Dropline dropper post. It is a solid seat post. It works. On that seat post we have the cheap $25 Chinese carbon saddle, which this is my third one at this point, and I really dig it. It's pretty darn light, does the job, agrees with my butt. Onto the right shifter. Oh, okay. Now, remember when I said this bike was scheduled to be finished in the spring, right? And it's January, and it's been finished way above schedule. And I have a lot of people to thank for this. Primarily Russell Blumpkin. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it, man. So Russell gave me a bunch of parts, told me to use what I needed to finish the build, and then pass it on to people, whatever I don't need, pass it on to people who need them, and that's what I did. And then whatever I didn't give away, Ian Mossy of trailtechnique.com told me to sell it for half of cost, which means I would still be hooking people up, and I would be able to fund the rest of this project. So that's that. So that's what I did. I also got a bunch of gift cards from a bunch of my students last year, or this Christmas, which helped buy a bunch of parts, and that was really nice. Thank you, kiddos. You know me very well. Bike parts and beer. Anyways, front shifter is controlling a M9000 rear derailleur in the back via a wolf-tooth tan pan. And it's being driven by SRAM X0 crank with a Race Z or SUMC chain, which looks pretty much like a KMC chain actually. And that's that. I got, so the parts which I'm still using from Russell are the exterior pedals, the exterior rear derailleur, the tan pan, and the cranks. Yeah, thanks, bud. Killing it. Thank you so much. Let's ride. On the chainring, I'm running a 34 tooth, just regular round, because yeah, it's an NX one I got for 20 bucks off REI. There are some special parts running on this. particularly this cassette. This cassette is a prototype from a company called JGbike out in China. They used to be a ZRace distributor, and now they're trying to come up with their own high-end stuff. Now this cassette is an 11-speed 1150 cassette that weighs 380 grams that fits on a 10-speed freehop body, which means you could fit this cassette on pretty much any old mountain bike which runs this like Shimano HD setup, which is pretty darn cool, which means I did not have to rebuild that wheel or use a different hub. I just slapped it on and that was that. I'm also testing out new chain loop on this bike from a company called AMT Beer. They're the guys who have the sag carts running around, which is actually super brilliant way of measuring sag in your suspension. So that's that. There you have it. The full bike check on this bike. Whole thing came in at 25.06 pounds on the scale, and that's with the heavy wheel set, the tubes, sealant in tubes, you know, and yeah. Oh yeah, Lezine bottle cage. So there is one thing which I'm not really down with, and that's only one bottle cage mount. But in order to mitigate that, to help out with that, I am actually gonna be using these stashers bags, and it will fit right in the front triangle, right behind that first bottle cage, and that way I can have the option of carrying 2 bottles or a bottle and 2 beers. Pretty darn solid. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. There will be more videos, especially self-shot videos, coming up with this thing, just like I've done in the past with my other drop bar bike. Once again, guys, click here to subscribe, click here for a video, and click here for more stuff. Don't forget to like, drop, or comment too, man. I would really love to meet and ride with more of you guys out there. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the trails. Have a good one.